All right, we've got new Fox News polls this morning on the economy. We want to show you voters are giving the economy its best rating in nearly 2 decades. They are crediting President Trump. Take a look at these numbers. 55% say that the economy is, quote, in excellent or good shape, up from 47% in October. This is the first time in 19 years that so many have felt this positively about the economy. Joining us right now is Laffer Associates Chairman and former Reagan economic advisor Art Laffer. Art, it's always great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you, Maria.
And you have to say that one of the reasons that people are so happy about the economy is because of tax reform and the tax cuts that we saw going into place. But the Democrats have another idea about this. How significant has the tax legislation been on the U.S. economy's growth? And what are you expecting come tax increases should one of the Democrats actually win?
Well, let me just go through the tax bill as it passed. It passed in December 22nd, 2017. And if you look at it, U.S. growth had been almost exactly the same as Eurozone growth for the 2 prior years. And then all of a sudden, after the tax bill passed, well, at the same time, U.S. growth accelerated dramatically relative to Eurozone growth. And now we are probably about 2.5 percentage points higher GDP than we would have been had we followed Eurozone growth. And that's a lot of money, Maria. That's $600 billion. And the growth differential is still very large. I think we are still 1% higher in growth than the Eurozone. If you look at employment growth, that went very nicely as well. Stock market beautifully. If you look at real wages, up $5,000 versus the entire 8 years of Obama as a little over $1,000. So that's wonderful. But the one that really bothers me, Maria, is that I read in the New York Times by Benjamin Applebaum, I see articles by Jared Bernstein saying that tax revenues are way down. That is not true. In fact, tax revenues counting from the 4th quarter of 2017, all right, for the next 2 years, 8 quarters, versus the prior 2 years, tax revenues, federal, state, and local, are up 6.4%. That's a 3.2% per annum. And federal tax revenues are up 5.1%. The tax revenues are coming in beautifully. And, you know, Applebaum used a very bad word with regard to Mnuchin, Secretary of Treasury Mnuchin, saying it was a lie. But, you know, Mnuchin is exactly correct. These tax cuts have paid for themselves already. And I just don't know where they're getting off, but I think it's desperation.
I think they're trying to get ahead.
Call me and I'll get the data.
They're trying to get ahead of the president and Congress talking about cutting taxes even further. I mean, last week I sat down with President Trump while we were in Davos, and I asked him about tax cuts for the middle class and what his priorities are for 2020. Watch this.
I saw that.
Was that a tax cut for the middle class, or do you just want to make that permanent?
No, I'm going to make a tax cut, and we're going to probably make the other permanent. It's got a long way to go, in all fairness, but we're going to make that permanent for the middle class. So we'll be doing that. We'll be announcing it over the next 90 days. That's, to me, very important.
So what would be the ideal tax plan next? Or do you want to see the taxes that are in place right now permanent, or do you want to see another cut for the middle class?
I would like to see both of those. I think the president was very clear. I watched your interview. It was really spectacular, by the way. The president said he doesn't expect to get it passed through this session in Congress. I mean, it has to get a new Congress.
Yeah, he said he needs the House back.
But, you know, I think it's... Yeah, he needs the House back, and I think this tax cut that he's proposing will really pull the Democrats out of the woodwork. Are they against tax cuts and economic growth, or are they for it? And if those guys voted against it, I think it means that we take the House. And if we take the House, then everything's open for game. It'll be perfect. And I think there's a good chance we do take the House. I think there's a good chance we keep the Senate. And with what's going on in the impeachment stuff, I watched that over the weekend as well. And it looks good, too, for the president. I mean, you've been on top of that like mad. I mean, just fantastic coverage, Maria, on that.
Thank you.
I think it looks very good for the president. The economics is working beautifully. I just couldn't have asked for better results than have actually occurred.
Art, good morning. Mitch Rochelle. Just staying on the topic of tax cuts and tax reform, many have commented that the economic pop that we got was a sugar high. I personally don't agree with that, but I'm curious from your perspective, looking at this historically, when you have a sweeping tax reform like we had, how many years does it take to really begin to see the long-term or at least medium-term benefits of it? Because we're just in the early stages of it, I would suspect.
I know we are. And growth rates are still higher in the U.S. than they are in the rest of the world by as much as they ever have been. So it's been a 2-year sugar high so far, and there's no sign of it tapering off at all. I mean, what you're seeing right now is the growth rates are still higher, and the differential between U.S. GDP and what it would have been had we grown at Eurozone rates is about $600 billion. I mean, that's a very large amount, Mitch. And I would guess the tax rate reductions that were done in 2017 will continue to impact growth rates for years to come. So I don't think there's any sugar high, and I don't think it dissipates.
Yeah, I just want to point out that the Journal's out with an op-ed this morning, the tax increases to come. And they say there's little doubt a new 12.4% tax would depress incentives and reduce America's competitive advantage for high-skilled workers and make the tax structure more typical of European countries. They actually quote Cornerstone Macro, which is a firm that I follow a lot, and quote Cornerstone Macro a lot on this program, to prove the point. Higher taxes basically pushes money to lower tax places, whether it's country or states, which is what we're seeing in America. But I got to get your take on capitalism versus socialism. 2020 hopeful Bernie Sanders out with a new ad targeting J.P. Morgan Chase Chairman and CEO Jamie Dimon after he slammed socialism last week. Sanders tweeted this last week. That's funny. Jamie Dimon seems fine with corporate socialism when his bank got $416 billion bailout from American taxpayers. Here's what Dimon told me at the J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference in San Francisco earlier this month when I asked him about socialism versus capitalism. What do people not understand about socialism versus capitalism?
Socialism, you have to define it first. So I think a lot of people, particularly younger people, think socialism means we're going to take care of people, which we all want to do. Safety nets for the sick, the old, the poor, our veterans, or just someone gets laid off or gets very sick, they get a chance to come back in society. There are a lot of programs for that. A lot of them don't work, but we all believe that. But socialism itself means that the government controls companies by one form or another. And, remember, you may not remember this, but the old Russia, they had the commissars, on either submarine or the business, the commissar in the room, the political leader, was the real boss. And when companies control companies, they don't control companies to do a better job for the client, for innovation or growth or competition, and so that they control it for political purposes.
Art, reaction here.
Yeah, well, I think he was talking more about communism, but socialism here is really very clear. You take from those who have and you give to those who have not. Now, if you tax people who work, Maria, and pay people who don't work, you're going to get a lot of people not working. You're going to cause a collapse. Yeah. This stuff of Sayers and Zuckman and Piketty is killer stuff for the economy.
But what's very interesting here is Bernie Sanders is playing on the same feeling that gave rise to the Tea Party. Where's my bailout? You bailed out these banks. Where's my bailout? Where's my money? Yeah. That's what gave birth to the Tea Party. It's very interesting. He's again, it's not right versus left with Bernie Sanders or Trump. It is about populism and nationalism.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when you got the Business Roundtable coming out and saying all these stakeholders are important. Somebody has to defend capitalism.
Yes. Well, I'll defend it. Those bailouts for the banks were wrong when they did it. The reason the Great Recession was so long and so deep was because of these bailouts, because of that whole process. Yep. We should not have done it then, and we shouldn't do it now going into the future. We'll create another Great Recession, which is exactly why it occurred before. And it's not, I was on it with you guys back then, saying there should be no bailouts. It should let the markets clear. Capitalism is most important during crisis. Yeah. That's when you need to rely on the markets the most, and that's when politicians rely on them the least.
By the way, Art,
bailouts are not the right answer for anyone.
We got to jump. We got to jump. But real quick, are you worried about the coronavirus cutting growth?
I am worried about the coronavirus. Being almost 80 years old, I'm really worried about it. But all right. I am worried, yes.
Art, good to see you this morning. We'll be watching, of course. Come back soon as we look at the implications there. Art Laffer.